You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Donald Trump exaggerating links between violent crime and immigration in Wisconsin over the weekend. In Prairie du Chien, Trump predicted a bleak future if Kamala Harris wins.
Your town and every town, just like it all across Wisconsin and all across our country, the heartland, the coast, it doesn't matter, will be transformed into a third world hellhole.
But the numbers show immigrants are much less likely to commit violent crimes than American-born citizens. Trump campaigns in Waunakee and Milwaukee tomorrow. Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are neck and neck in Wisconsin in the latest poll. The New York Times and Siena College say Harris leads here 49% to 47%. Wisconsin has been decided by less than a point in 4 of the last 6 campaigns. 25 Red Cross volunteers from Wisconsin are part of the Hurricane Helene relief effort in the southeastern United States. Their assignments could change at any time. In fact, Red Cross volunteers have to be on standby in case they're needed more somewhere else in the country. Pro-democracy groups are keeping up the pressure on the mayor of Wausau. Doug Dinney removed a ballot drop box out of public reach last week. Critics call the move voter suppression. Sam Liebert is with the group All Voting is Local.
This is just another part of a larger puzzle of continued voter suppression and trying to have fewer people vote in the upcoming November election.
There was a similar controversy in Beaver Dam, where the Dodge County Sheriff urged local clerks not to use drop boxes. Home prices keep going up in Wisconsin 8%, according to the latest report from the Wisconsin Realtors Association. The median price of a Wisconsin home is now $324,000. Authorities say one student is behind a series of threats made to western Wisconsin schools last week. The threats forced Chippewa Falls, Eau Claire, Altoona, Augusta, and Elk Mountain schools to close. The Justice Department says it will press charges. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now, here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. Wausau's Mayor Doug Dinney's removal of the absentee ballot drop box from in front of City Hall will be investigated by the Portage County Sheriff's Office. The Wisconsin Department of Justice will continue to be informed of the status and findings of the investigation. No further comment will be made by the Marathon County District Attorney's Office or Portage County Sheriff's Office until the investigation has been completed and the District Attorney's Office has conducted a thorough review. And home prices continue to climb across the state. New numbers show that prices locally are up almost 10%. The new report also shows a continued dip in inventory, about 3% statewide compared to last year. Local realtors say despite a recent decrease in federal interest rates, these numbers are keeping affordability at an all-time low. Experts say if interest rates go down too much, it could cause more people to look for homes. And if the supply of homes remains low, the increase in demand could actually make prices even more expensive. One person is dead after a crash Friday morning in Marathon County. It happened just before 10:30 Friday morning near the intersection of State Highway 153 and County Highway E in the town of Eau Plaine. 2 vehicles were involved in the crash, and one of the drivers was pronounced dead at the scene, while the other was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. An investigation into what happened is ongoing. And Native American languages are in danger of disappearing, but keeping them going is difficult. So some people in Wisconsin are trying to save Native American languages. Laura Red Eagle is a member of the Ho-Chunk Nation and a part of the Indigenous Language Table, and they meet in Madison once a week to have everyday chats in native tongue. The United Nations predicts that more than half the world's languages will disappear in about 75 years. And gas prices are up this week by about 4.5 cents per gallon, averaging at $3.13. In Wausau today, prices range from $2.95 to $3.19. A major part of fall for many Wisconsinites is deer hunting season. Before hunters do anything with their harvest, however, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is reminding them to test their deer for chronic wasting disease. It's a contagious, fatal neurological disease that affects the nervous system of deer, elk, moose, and caribou. The CDC, along with several other health agencies, warn against humans consuming any meat from deer that tested positive, though there have not been any reported cases of CWD infection in people. If deer themselves have CWD from months. They can appear healthy, which is why testing them is so crucial. The DNR has 24/7 self-service kiosks and meat processors, and other local businesses collect the head for sampling. Hunters can also pick up a kit ahead of time to do an at-home testing lymph node extraction, or it can be done by appointment with a local DNR staff. And remember to dispose of deer carcasses in disposal dumpsters, landfills, or transfer stations to prevent spreading the disease. We've inherited a mini-moon, but it's only temporary. Lasting for just a few weeks, an asteroid about the size of a city bus entered Earth's orbit on Sunday. Don't worry, there's no threat, and scientists have named it Asteroid 2024 PT5. It was found in early August, and it's going to be stuck near us for about 56 days. It's a space rock from the Arjuna asteroid belt, but in order for it to become a mini-moon, it needs to get close enough to Earth at around 2.8 million miles away and slow down to speeds of around 2,200 miles per hour. Under these specific conditions, the geocentric energy grows negative and allows it to become a temporary moon. It will stay stuck in this process for about 2 months, flinging out of Earth's orbit on Monday, November 25th. Unfortunately, while we have a second moon around Earth, we will not be able to see it with our naked eyes. And it's too small and dim for typical amateur telescopes and binoculars. And that's what you need to know. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
The Packers fall to 2-2. Hi, I'm Jimmy Kuska with sports, filling in for Mike Clemens. Minnesota led Green Bay 28-0 at the half, but the Packers were able to move the ball and put up points in the second half before falling short against the Vikings 31-29. Quarterback Jordan Love said they didn't do enough to win.
We just didn't make plays. I think did not play well enough, personally, me. And, accuracy was a little bit off, a little bit shaky, and was definitely making it hard on some of the guys, which just led to us getting off the field early and not being able to put up points.
Coach Matt LaFleur said the team started slow but finished strong.
They played a lot of soft zone, a lot of soft coverage, and unfortunately we just didn't get enough completions. But I did think he looked, as the game went, it seemed to me that he looked more and more comfortable. We made more explosive plays, which is tough to do when a team's sitting back in two shell.
Green Bay heads to LA to play the Rams on Sunday. The Milwaukee Brewers are off today as they await their postseason opponent. The Mets and Braves play a doubleheader today to determine postseason seeding. A sweep by either team means the Brewers get Arizona. A split means Milwaukee faces the Mets tomorrow. First pitch is just after 4:30 in Milwaukee tomorrow. And after dropping 2 games, the 2-2 Badgers host Purdue on Saturday with an 11 a.m. kickoff. Badgers hockey hits the ice this week as well, hosting Lindenwood Friday and Saturday. Filling in for Mike Clemens, I'm Jimmy Kuska with Civic Media Sports.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Wisconsin native Mark Ruffalo took home a Best Documentary Emmy for his film Lakota Nation versus the United States. It all went down at the 45th Annual News and Documentary Emmy Awards last Thursday in New York City. The documentary details the seizure in 1876 of Black Hills and chronicles the Lakota tribe's fight to reclaim the land. Freddie Prinze Jr. has signed on for another installment of I Know What You Did Last Summer. This will be the 4th film in the franchise. Jennifer Love Hewitt is in talks but has not signed on to the project yet. This will be the 3rd film of the franchise for Prinze. Another installment of the franchise had different actors and went right to video in 2006. Producers say they are hoping to have the film in theaters in the summer of 2025. If the original cast gets much older, the next installment can be called I Totally Forgot What Happened That One Summer. Lately, it seems like mega millionaires with mansions cannot catch a break. First, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez had a buyer lined up for their $68 million Beverly Hills home, only to find out the offer had been pulled. Now it's been announced that David and Victoria Beckham will have to endure construction noises due to a year-long renovation of the mansion next door. One option for the couple could be to spend time at their Miami penthouse, but Florida can be so muggy. Stay tuned for the latest on this breaking story, and hang in there, Mr. and Mrs. Spice Girl. Joel and Ellie will be back soon, according to HBO. Variety reports that the network released a preview for Season 2 of The Last of Us, starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. The acting duo play survivors in the post-apocalyptic zombie derivation of the video game. Season 2 will start after a 5-year time jump in the story. Season 1 of the show took home 8 Emmys and had 24 nominations. The trailer for Season 2 can be viewed on YouTube or wherever you get your movie trailers. The premiere of Yellowstone should have more eyes on it than usual. In addition to its debut on the Paramount Network, it will replay 2 hours later on CBS. This will be the first new episode of the show in almost 2 years. This will be the show's Season 5 Part 2 premiere and will not include Kevin Costner, who is off making a remarkably similar 12-hour movie saga. The show premieres November 10th. Well, it was only a matter of time, but there is finally a movie in the works about, you guessed it, Pickleball. The pseudo sport that is sweeping the nation will be well represented on the big screen thanks to Ben Stiller, who will direct the film set in the world of the fast-rising sport, and he'll also play a supporting role. The film will star Jake Johnson as a washed-up tennis pro, and it wouldn't be a pickleball movie without a couple of old people who will be represented by Ed Harris and Mary Steenburgen. The hips, they'll be a-breakin'. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mostly sunny today. We'll get into the low 80s again this afternoon with wind out of the south at 5 to 15. Clear tonight. The cold front will come through a little breezy with a low of 48. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and quite a bit cooler with a high tomorrow in the low 60s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 53.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.